Hello and welcome to Simple Cryptocurrency News presented by Cryptos Chain. And in today's news video, I'm going to be talking about Ripple announcing a $100 million blockchain gaming fund with Ford. Then I'm going to be talking about Scatter and NOS partnership. Then I'll be talking about the upcoming mainnet for Phantasma Chain and their migration from the Neo blockchain. Then I'll be covering news from the Ontology ecosystem. And finally, I'm going to wrap it up with news from the Neo ecosystem as I always do. Now, before I jump into the news, I just want to remind you that in the description below this video, you will find the links and also the times from the different topics that I'm going to be covering in this video. So you can simply click on the time and it will take you directly on that specific topic which you're interested in watching, in case you simply don't have the time to watch the whole video. That being said, let's get right in and start the news. So let's talk about Ripple announcing a $100 million blockchain gaming fund with 40. So what are Ripple trying to do? So obviously banking isn't enough for them. They're trying to move into the gaming industry. And as a Phantasma Chain fan, I'm not really happy with this news because obviously they're pretty much trying to copy what Phantasma Chain are going to do. But the difference is that Ripple have the capital. Ripple have a lot of money. So this is actually a concern for me as a Phantasma Chain fan because, Ripple have the capital, Ripple have the marketing. So, Ripple can actually become quite successful if they set their mind on something, and especially when it comes to obtaining partnerships, because they can simply pay to get the necessary partnerships, the necessary people, and the necessary development stuff. So it is very, very worrying. Of course, that doesn't mean that two projects can't coexist, but it is a worry. So basically Ripple are trying to move into the gaming industry. Basically they're looking at games like World of Warcraft, and they're basically saying that World of Warcraft are lacking built-in marketplaces to trade rare items. So we knew about that from the time when I had the podcast with Phantasma Chain, and we're actually discussing the idea of the project and to actually have non-fungible tokens traded on their marketplace in a legal way, obviously in the blockchain, obviously paying in the native token, and this is what Ripple are really trying to do. They're pretty much trying to work out how they can get it done in their marketplace, which they've started development on, right? We don't have too much information on that, but obviously they are actually working on that, because otherwise they wouldn't have posted, they wouldn't have mentioned these news, right, with this in this specific article. So yes, it is a bit of a worry in my opinion. Again, it is good for the actual gaming ecosystem, because we know that gamers want to be able to trade items. At the moment there are a number of forums where people normally trade. Some of these forums can be scams. People can lose their items, people can lose their players. I used to be a game player myself. I used to play multiplayer online role-playing games like MMORPG similar to World of Warcraft, and I remember that it was pretty difficult to actually trade any kind of character that I had within the game, and also rare items. So especially if you want to get money, right, there is no legal way to get money, because obviously the game creators don't actually allow you to trade your items for money, only for in-game currency. So you can sell them within the actual marketplace or the stores within the game. This means that you'll be stuck with currency from within the game. You cannot get anything from the outside world, like for example cryptocurrency in this case. So yes, Ripple are trying to pretty much work on that. We'll have to keep an eye out and see how they progress. But like I said, I am actually worried about this, because they have the money, they have the capital, so it's very concerning. But okay, let's move on and talk about Scatter and NOS. So not only was Ripple trying to do that, but now Scatter and NOS are trying to do the same. Basically, they're trying to do pretty much what Phantasma Chain are doing by introducing Ethereum, EOS, and Tron apps to NOS. So they're trying to integrate them from these different blockchains into their own blockchain. So it looks like they're going to be used as side chains, pretty much the same way as Phantasma are planning to do. So Scatter and NOS are two sides of the same coin. Now what is Scatter? So let's actually look at this. So Scatter is a wallet and development suite for building and using applications that interact with blockchains through transactions and smart contracts. So some of the biggest Scatter is used by some of the biggest Tron, EOS, and apps and games, including Everypedia, EOS Bet, Tron Bet, Higher Vibes, Dice One, EOS Knights, and Pix EOS. So yes, you can actually use Ethereum's massively popular Web3 API as well, meaning that most of existing Ethereum apps can interact with both the MetaMask plugin and Scatter supported wallet applications, such as the Scatter desktop app. So two sides of the same coin. Scatter and us both aim to boost blockchain adoption. Okay, so let's see. Blockchain powered applications, each in their own complementary ways. NOS introduces a decentralized platform for application, deployment, discovery, and interaction, and Scatter's Riddle token is used to grant reputation to apps, wallet addresses, and smart contracts. The NOS token is used for deploying, managing, and using apps in a decentralized ecosystem file system name service protocol. So NOS, they're really pushing it. They're trying to get out there. They're trying to build partnerships. Of course, we're seeing all these different projects doing the same, right? In order to survive in this ecosystem, especially in this bear market, you need partnerships, you need strong partnerships, you need to progress, you need to show people, you need to show the investors that you've got something, right? Something that to motivate them to keep your token or your coin, right? Because otherwise people are just going to sell. I mean, we've seen it with when everything, something negative comes out, with some negative article or some negative news whatsoever, you're seeing a massive sell-off. We've seen prices drop minus 50% or more within 24 hours. So it's horrible for long-term investors, especially if they're not always checking the news. But it is what it is. This is the cruel life of cryptocurrency. And actually, like BitBoy said in a podcast I had with him, you do need to be a big boy or a big girl when you invest in crypto, because otherwise you're going to be absolutely wrecked in some circumstances in which you've invested in a project which hasn't been doing too good, or there has been some other project that took it over and is doing better things than that project that you've invested in, or simply because they don't have any more funding. They had to lay off staff and things like that. So we have seen this happen, especially with some of the dApps on the Neo ecosystem, some of the projects that have created these dApps. And this is how it is, unfortunately. So you do need to be very careful, and this is the reason why I always try to cover these sort of news, to keep people aware and up to date with what's going on in this ecosystem, because it's very, very hard to actually keep a track on everything. So yes, that's pretty much what they're going to do. Application hosting as well, things like that. Smart contract may still exist on the blockchain, but without its user interface, the app becomes practically unusable if an app server goes offline. So yes, that's true. This is pretty much the reason why they're trying to move towards decentralization. So yes, NOS will integrate Scatter protocols with NOS client so that Scatter apps can be used, built on, and deployed to NOS. So this is pretty much how it's going to look. It's pretty cool, right, in terms of the GUI. We can see Nash is here too, Travala. So yes, Moonlight. So yes, all the open internet browsers, basically all of these different clients, can integrate into NOS and into the Scatter app. So yeah, I'm not sure why, but yeah, it just seems to me like all of a sudden, as soon as Phantasma Chain posted the news, we're seeing news from these other projects trying to copy them, trying to do the same thing in different ways. So yes, that is pretty strange indeed. But okay, that's enough about Scatter and NOS. Let's talk about Phantasma. So I was actually mentioning Phantasma earlier from the start because I was just surprised that they've posted this article today, but we're seeing articles from Ripple, who is a giant right in the crypto space, and also NOS and Scatter trying to build a partnership. So, and trying to pretty much do what Phantasma Chain are doing, which is, it's really strange. Maybe they just realized that this is the future and this is how it's supposed to be, right? So yes, basically they're saying, hey Soul Masters, today is the day of the long awaited announcement. The team is very aware of the community's eagerness for news from Phantasma, especially since recent developments in our GitHub were identified. So pretty much they're saying that they're going to be launching pretty soon. I'm going to tell you in a moment. So they're talking about the Phantasma consensus mechanism, which is proof of stake, as we all know. Scalability. So do read this out if you're interested. They have managed to achieve 5,000 transactions per second. Obviously, they've tested that, so they can prove it. So yes, this is really, really fast. The Phantasma name service is an interesting feature that they're going to integrate, which is like the Neo name service, in which you're basically replacing your alphanumeric address, which is very, very long, with a friendly name. Okay, like a domain name pretty much. So they are saying it here that you can do that from the beginning, right? Because their blockchain is going to support that from day one of the mainnet launch. Then obviously non-fungible tokens, okay, which we know that they are as they are, right? Especially in blockchain gaming. You know, for example, you may have unique characters, unique items. These are called non-fungible tokens because they cannot be changed. So yes, that is going to be supported in the Phantasma marketplace. The dual token system, Phantasma Energy. Now this is the stuff that I've actually discovered when I was doing my GitHub video, when I was trying to break down what's going on. Basically, the dual token is the staking token. Well, the staking token is Sol, but basically by staking Sol, you're gonna generate kcal. So they're not actually gonna call it Alma anymore, which means Sol in Spanish, but instead they're gonna call it Phantasma Energy with the ticker symbol kcal, KCAL. Okay, and that's the network resource token of the Phantasma chain, which will be used upon transactions as transaction fees. Of course, everybody who stakes Sol will immediately start receiving energy distributed to a public Phantasma address by choice. Therefore, it is not possible to receive energy by just holding Sol in your wallet. Staking is required. By receiving energy right after staking Sol, you can start using the Phantasma app right away by distributing the energy to a wallet of your choice. You can introduce your friends and relatives to Phantasma's ecosystem by staking Sol for them. Wow, this is pretty good. Now, the staked Sol and generated energy are locked in the specific wallet for 24 hours, after which you can transfer the Sol back to your wallet or keep staking Sol for more energy. So energy is unlocked after 24 hours, however, you can still use the energy for transaction fees within the first 24 hours. Automatic conversions between energy and Sol is supported later down the line with Phantasma's very own DEX. So yes, we need to keep that in mind. Okay, it's unlocked after 24 hours, locked for 24 hours, so you will be generating energy by staking, but just keep in mind the lockdown period, which is pretty normal to be honest. Now again, the 0.002 energy per day, so that's actually going to be the case, because I wasn't actually sure with GitHub, but obviously they've changed that a little bit. They've played around with it, they've made some changes, so that's pretty much how it's going to be. So the minimum amount of Sol to be staked to receive energy is 1 Sol, and yes, 1 Sol is just going to generate 0.0, sorry, the transactions cost is going to be 0.01 energy per transaction, but 1 Sol will generate 0.002 energy per day. Now the maximum supply of energy is 320 million kcal, in which the release of the energy will halve every 2 years. So obviously it would be motivational to stake from the beginning, especially if you already hold Sol at the moment. If you're an investor in this project and you hold it, it makes sense to stake simply to gain the energy. And if energy is tradable as well, then obviously you're going to make some extra passive income. Again, this is not financial advice, it's just discussing the actual project, and especially for those of you that have invested in Phantasma and may be interested what is the use case and what you can do with it, right? So mainnet tokenomics: due to burning of the bonus tokens during the private sale, the maximum supply of Sol is currently 91.1 million, but it's going to change to 100 million. And they're basically saying that these 8.8 million are going to be locked and will slowly be used to improve the ecosystem of Phantasma by incentivizing developers. So you have read through this. So 6 million Sol are going to be allocated for the Sol Masters pool, 1 million to the Phantasma Cosmic Swaps, and 1.8 million to fund the Phantasma Force Foundation. So there's a lot of stuff in this article. I mean, a lot of stuff. Again, with the token swap, they're pretty much saying that you don't need to swap it. Okay, if you want to use the Phantasma app, you should swap it because obviously you will generate energy. You cannot generate energy if you have the NEP5 token, but you can swap back from Sol's main chain token to the Neo blockchain one. So you can simply do that for the whole of 2019, the whole of this year, which is pretty cool because they give you that flexibility, which we haven't actually seen with other tokens. Now, the reason for that is basically because they're saying that people like Switch.io, okay, and because people like to trade Sol on Switch.io, Switch.io only supports NEP5 tokens and Ethereum at the moment, so Neo blockchain and Ethereum blockchain. There is no support for the Sol blockchain, sorry, for the Phantasma blockchain yet. Maybe in the future at some point, we never know. But this is the reason why they're making it flexible for you, okay? So do keep that in mind, that it is interchangeable, so you don't need to worry about making sure that you do the token swap on time, because you can simply swap whenever you want. Cool. Let's talk about block producers a little bit. So Phantasma chain will have block producers instead of master nodes. So actually, instead of staking 50k SOL, you need to get a block producer. You need to apply for one, obviously. When you the thing is, with block producers, they actually work differently, because they're saying here that you can only have one active block producer per side chain. So obviously Phantasma can integrate different side chains, which are different blockchains, such as EOS, Ethereum, Neo, etc., etc. And when they integrate these blockchains, which are on their side chain, they're pretty much going to have one block producer for each of these side chains. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And they're talking about the active and the standby ones. Obviously, you are going to have some standby ones as well, but there will be like a lottery system to make sure that there will always be one active one. So yes, all the chains will rotate over the active BPs, block producers, which results that all active BPs will continuously produce a block, and every block producer can also verify multiple chains at the same time. So this is pretty cool. Now, requirements and rewards as well, they're talking about that. Block producers will receive 2/3, which is 2% of the yearly inflation, which is the 2% is to be divided into 4 quarters. 0.5% is to be allocated to the block producers pool every quarter. Now, active block producers receive 75% of the block producers pool, rewards divided proportionally to the voting ratio, 50% of the energy fees, and 100% of the main chain fees, and 100% of the ghost chain fees. So wow, I mean, if you've got a master node, if you're a block producer, it's huge, right? It's not easy to get one, I'm guessing, but because you need to apply for it, you need to have a 24/7 running virtual private server. But for those of you that are interested in these master nodes, then obviously this is amazing. You know, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that they're giving you, right? A lot of passive income here. Standby block producers receive 25% of the block producers pool, and rewards get divided proportionally to the voting ratio. Then you've got the Phantasma voting, so everybody will be able to vote on block producers by staking SOL. The voting occurs every quarter with a defined period of voting submissions. So you can pretty much stake your number of SOL, and it's the square root of the voting power. The square root of what you hold, of what you stake, is the voting power that is decided. And the voting can only be done through the Phantasma app, and it's possible to vote for multiple block producers. So wow, that's a lot of information here. And then they're giving you some example. Let's talk about SOL masters as well. So obviously not everyone can become a block producer, but because many people have 50,000 SOL, they will be able to stake. Okay, they will be able to stake. Obviously, it's not going to be a master node, but you will be able to stake your 50,000 SOL on the Phantasma app. And what's going to happen is every SOL master, because if you stake 50,000 SOL in the Phantasma app's smart contract, then you're going to be a SOL master. And 125,000 SOL is going to be distributed monthly and equally all over SOL masters for a total of 4 years. So they're pretty much doing a little bit kind of the same as Ontology are doing with their Ontology node staking feature. So we're seeing that similarity here. This sums the 6 million SOL allocated for the SOL Masters pool, and the SOL has to be staked before the month starts to receive the rewards for that specific month. For example, a person is eligible for the February rewards if that person stakes 50,000 SOL between 1st of January and 31st of January. So yes, this is how it's going to work. Phantom Force as well, which is an independent group of open source developers and other contributors. So they'll be funded by the initial supply increase to a maximum of 100 million. And oh yes, so it's basically the difference, right? They're going to be funded by the difference that they've increased the supply of SOL by. So from 91 million to 100 million. And then the yearly inflation of 3% is also going to go towards funding. So it's going to fund developers basically to motivate them to continue building dApps, right? Let's see what else we've got. Cosmic Swaps, which is a liquidity framework for decentralized exchanges on Phantasma. Developers can build their own exchange, front end and marketing, while the back end is connected directly with Phantasma. So, wow, a lot of stuff. I mean, Phantasma have just recently, done a lot of work. They haven't been too active, to be honest, on social media, but as you can see, they came out with a bomb because they came out with a lot of updates, a lot of stuff. So main chain is in for a big hit, right? We're gonna see a lot of things happening. Stablecoin Phantasma Gold, obviously because it's e-commerce, they want to have some kind of stable token, which is going to be backed by the US dollar, okay, but it's actually going to be swappable with a stable coin or a stable token. I think it's one of the existing ones. For example, Phantasma will always have one tether or any other stable coin in reserve for any one gold that has been generated. So again, don't confuse gold with the actual real gold. It's just the name of the stable token, right? But yes, they are going to be converting into tether. So it's not going to be the real US dollar. Just to, in case you're confused, no, it's not going to be fiat. Maybe in the future, okay, because they do say here and fiat to be added later. But at the moment, it's just going to be the existing stable tokens such as tether. Then Phantasma Storage, which allows users to upload files to the Phantasma network. It's similar to Google Drives, however, Google stores their data within their own centralized system, while Phantasma Storage allows a fully distributed, therefore decentralized storage network. The files can be read by smart contracts, which unlocks a new method of storing and accessing the files, while the storage networks that no blockchain can provide up until Phantasma chain. Wow. So this is a pretty unique feature then, because they obviously proved it, otherwise they wouldn't have said no blockchain can provide up until Phantasma chain. They've researched it and there is none other, right? They are unique. And then they're talking about the summary and surprise. So I'm not going to read through the summary, but basically the surprise is that they're going to launch their mainnet in Q2, which is in April 2019, is going to be right at the start. Okay, so not much longer. I mean, it's going to be next month. They do apologize for the slight delay because many people obviously waited for it to happen in March. It's not going to happen, right? But we know why, because they're going to launch a lot of stuff. So this is actually quite an interesting ending here. Forget the crypto forecaster, become a soul master. So yeah, that's pretty much it from Phantasma. Actually, quite a lot to cover here, and I'm actually gonna cover a lot more information. I'm actually planning to do a video with Lee Kai, the marketing advisor from Phantasma, and then we're gonna break down a lot of this information. I'm gonna have probably a lot of questions for him, for the community, and hopefully it's gonna answer a lot of doubts that people may have. And now that we've got the news from Ripple and the news from Scatter, I'm actually gonna mention something related with that as well, just to see what is the opinion, what is Phantasma's opinion on these news. Obviously, they're gonna continue their work. They're gonna focus on Phantasma. They're gonna focus on building Phantasma, making it great for the users and for the people that want to get on it and start using it. But let's see how things progress and which project succeeds, because we know that projects can coexist as well, right? As long as they've got the funding to continue, as well as they manage to build those good partnerships, there should be no reason not to, right? Right, that's that about Phantasma. Let's move on and talk about Ontology. So Ontology have been very active lately as well. We'll kick it off with the information about the ONG trading competition. 200,000 ONG to give away. This is on Binance, so this actually was posted 14 hours ago. This video is from the 13th of March, so it was posted pretty much yesterday. But yeah, trading competition that actually caused a huge spike in the price of ONG. As we know, all trading competitions do that. So bi-weekly update, we've got some information on the new Block Explorer release, which is the node solution for GCP, Latem X, and Go With Me partnerships. Then we've got Ontology going to Saigon at the end of the month. Read more and sign up, right? So yes. More on Ontology. It's about the speakers banquet, which was hosted by Ontology on the eve of the Token 24/9 conference, and Ontology announced a partnership with Movie Block, a new film distribution platform driven by KM Player and Pandora TV. So wow, Ontology are just smashing it. It just shows you that this project is not messing around. So if anybody had any doubt about Ontology, you can forget about those doubts. Ontology are just absolutely smashing it. Ontology actually want to open an office in the US as well, so they're trying to move out of China or expand. Let's say they're going to stay in China but also expand because of the current situation in China, you know, with cryptocurrencies. But imagine what happens when China open up the market for crypto, right? Imagine how big Neo and Ontology are going to be over there, right? So yes, and also the key, don't forget the key, because they've actually got close relationships with the Chinese government. So I'm really looking forward to that in June to see what we can find out from them. But yeah, about Ontology, yes, we are seeing more and more partnerships. They're just not giving up, right? They're continuing, and this is what we want to see. We want to see activity. And they've actually got close to 69,000 followers on Twitter. So a huge following from Ontology. Cool, that's that about Ontology. Let's talk about the Neo ecosystem. And Translate Me and Conjure announced a partnership and collaboration. So I was just telling you about partnerships, and now we're seeing more and more of them happen. Obviously, Translate Me is a small project, which is a dApp on the Neo blockchain for translating any kind of white papers, for example, or Medium articles, basically to help projects get their translation out there, and spread the word to various countries, to various places where not everyone can speak English, right? So this is an actually good initiative. I'm actually thinking of bringing the CEO of Translate Me, or some marketing advisor or somebody from Translate Me to do a video cast with me, just so they can give us more information on Translate Me. But actually, Lee Kai on My Crypto Spirit has done a podcast with the CEO, so he's got some information on there if you're interested in listening to the audio. But just search for My Crypto Spirit and you can find that. But yes, I'm actually I'm actually thinking of getting him on a video, because obviously people like to see a face to relate to when it comes to these kind of interviews. So yeah, Translate Me and Conjure are going to be a security token offering. I have covered them in the news before. So yes, basically what Translate Me is going to do, they're going to be translating the white paper for Conjure, the website, and the marketing materials. So there's going to be multiple language support for Conjure's social media as well, Medium account and Telegram groups in the future. So wow, quite a lot of stuff, for when it comes to translation, because Conjure are really trying to get out there to the masses. Obviously, there are security tokens, so in order to set that up, it costs them a lot of money because of the securities involved, the legislation, the lawyer that they need to pay. So yes, quite a lot, quite a lot. Right, that's that. Let's talk about Switch.io. So Switch.io's OTC, I've actually done a demo on that over-the-counter service. It's now live on the exchange's website, so you can simply log in and you'll be able to see the OTC there, and it's going to welcome you with this screen that you can see in the image here. And as I've done a demo on it, do check out my demo as well if you're interested to find out more about their OTC. But yes, it's basically available, and they're not going to incur any fees. So free of charge until April 11th of 2019. So pretty cool. So do check that out if you want to see a trustless over-the-counter service. Okay, let's talk about For the Win. So For the Win lottery and raffle now accessible via O3 Wallet. So I've done a demo on them actually yesterday. Do check out my demo from yesterday, in which I basically go through each of these steps. I show you how to play the lottery. I show you the raffle as well. So this is the functionality that they've integrated in the O3 desktop and mobile wallets to make it very, very accessible and easily accessible, obviously, to play the lottery and to play a raffle and other games which they're going to eventually develop through the O3 app. So pretty cool stuff from For the Win. And finally, let's wrap it up with NKN, new kind of network. They're doing a token swap and the deadline is March 27th. So I don't know if you remember, I mean, if you've been watching the videos on my channel, I did mention at some point the news from Neo News today that NKN, new kind of network, are going to be migrating to a different blockchain, right? So they do want you to do that ERC20 swap. They're enforcing it, right? They're migrating to Ethereum, right? So you need to do the swap by let's see here, the deadline is Thursday, March 28th, right? So just make sure you're in for that if you hold any NKN tokens, because obviously if you don't do it, you lose them. It's simple, right? Obviously, if you hold them on any exchanges, so they do actually mention here, if you hold them on Switch.io, if call them switch as in the smart contract, LA token, BCEX or Bitrue, you must withdraw them, right? Because they will have a web wallet, a web swap tool, which can be found at the link below. So again, I'm going to be posting a link to this article, so you can simply click on this Medium post from within Neo News today, and just follow the steps there and see how you can do the swap to make sure that you don't actually lose your new kind of network tokens, right? Because we've seen this happen with Ontology, where some people complained on Reddit that they haven't checked crypto for quite a few months or for more than 6 months. They obviously had the NEP5 version of Ontology, and they didn't do the token swap on time to the Ontology main chain, so they lost all their tokens. Now basically they can't use them, so make sure that doesn't happen to you and do the token swap to ERC20 if you haven't already done it. Okay, so that pretty much concludes my video for today, and please do leave a comment below, because I am curious to find out what is your opinion on Phantasma chain and also on their competitors, because we know Ripple have a lot of money. Do you think Ripple are gonna smash that? Do you think Ripple are gonna be independent and Phantasma are gonna continue working independently and they're gonna do better than Ripple maybe, from this point of view? Or how do you think content distribution is gonna work, and also the marketplace? Because yeah, Phantasma have some unique things. You got to give them that, right? As we've seen. So yeah, let's see. I'm actually curious to hear what your opinion is on that. Cool. That's pretty much it from today. I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe if you're new to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to enable notifications, because that's very important to be made aware of when I upload the next video. Thank you very much once again. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.